Respawn Entertainment, the gaming company behind Titanfall, Apex Legends, and of course Jedi Fallen Order, just posted on their website that they're looking for level designers, and game writers. Now, normally this isn't news, but it is because they're all hiring for their Star Wars team. This is interesting timing because EA and Battlefront 2 just ended support for that game the other day. And with that, there'll be a lot of people that worked on that game that are now in the job market. Whether they go on to work on another Star Wars game is completely up to them, but the opportunity is there. Now, the obvious answer to what Respawn could be doing by hiring all these people is working on Jedi Fallen Order 2. But could it be something else? Because of this most recent enlightenment and the fact that Battlefront 2 has just ended support, I thought today would be a good day to start talking about the future of the Star Wars video game market. If you stick around to the end, I'll share with you some ideas that I have for Star Wars video games and of course where I think they're going in the future. Oh, and don't forget to leave a comment down below. I love interacting with you guys in the comments. Star Wars has the best movie tie-in video games in the history of the universe. That's the long and short of it. There will never be a movie franchise that puts out as many quality video games as the Star Wars franchise. Just check out some of these games. Knights of the Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Force Unleashed, Battlefront, Battlefront 2, Rogue Squadron, Rogue Squadron 2, Rogue Squadron 3, Rebel Strike, Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, Republic Commando, Shadows of the Empire, Jedi Starfighter, Bounty Hunter, Revenge of the Sith, The Clone Wars, Star Wars Pod Racer, and those are just some of the ones from a million years ago. When Disney purchased the franchise, they knew that video games were going to be a great way to showcase new content and further evolve the story. Battlefront 2 was the first EA-owned Star Wars game from the Disney era to include a full campaign. Though lackluster to most, the story showed that video games were still an essential part of the growing canon. Battlefront 2 was the best look at an era between movies that hadn't been fully fleshed out up to that point. Between the Battle of Endor and the Battle of Jakku, the end of the Galactic Civil War was a mystery in canon. The story of Iden Versio and Inferno Squad was the perfect opening into that span of time. In addition to the game, their story was also supplemented by a full critically acclaimed novel by Christie Golden. Outside of Inferno Squadron, Battlefront gave us our best look at Lando Calrissian as an Alliance general, and is still the most information we've gotten about Luke Skywalker's journey to becoming a Jedi Master. Battlefront 2 was also a great close-up for many of the smaller pieces of lore from the Star Wars universe. Starships, weapons, soldier classes, and much more were all given very intimate details. Jedi Fallen Order was the first story-centric video game since the popular Force Unleashed series that I'll touch on later. Though it didn't go into an era that was previously unseen like Battlefront 2, it introduced new characters and new ideas to the post-Order 66 galaxy that fans thought they knew very well. Jedi Fallen Order is the perfect example of what Star Wars video games could be going forward. I'm not one for huge multiplayer experiences. Every once in a while, maybe. But as I got older and don't have the time or patience for getting killed 55 times in 10 minutes, I'm starting to enjoy the stories much more. The journey that was Jedi Fallen Order was so expansive and immersive, I'm surprised that Disney hasn't done more with what came out of it. The idea of lost holocrons and ancient orders and mystical force abilities is just all so awesome. The characters were fresh and each brought something new to the table. Even if the story ended here, which I think is unlikely, it would still be something incredibly memorable. As of today, I think the Star Wars video game department is in really great shape. They've seriously contributed to the ongoing story in memorable ways and with really solid games. The mobile game department, not so much.
Hey, SpongeBob!
Hey, Patrick!
Hey, SpongeBob, could you give me change for a quarter?
No problem! Here you go!
Hey!
But beyond that, they have a bright future ahead of them. The question is, what will they do going forward? And I see this going two separate ways. The first is use old source material and see if they can weave in some of the characters from old canon. And the second is they go the other way and keep going with the characters they've created and introduce new ideas. But let's talk about the first. This one seems unlikely, but not without merit.
Disney has plans to re-release Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast in September for a PS4 and Nintendo Switch. They also had a re-release of Star Wars Pod Racer. Disney also opted to continue the long-standing LEGO Star Wars series with a complete 9-episode game coming sometime later this year. And of course, we already mentioned the Battlefront reboot that was extremely successful. So the question becomes, are they willing to keep going back to old video game source material to make new games? I'll tell you the one character I hope they bring back in some capacity is Starkiller from The Force Unleashed. If I didn't tell you that I've been secretly hoping that Starkiller would make some sort of appearance since Rebels Season 2, I'd be lying. With Sam Witwer readily available, I don't know how you don't take that opportunity. The Force Unleashed games were extremely popular, and I have no doubt that a recanonized version of those games with next-gen graphics and a proper development time would be a bestseller for sure. The other game that I know fans would welcome with open arms would be the Republic Commando game. These guys were popular enough to not only make a canon appearance in the Clone Wars, but also spawn a new fan favorite character in Gregor. A fully fleshed out first-person Clone Wars era game through the eyes of a clone commando squad would be crazy. Could you imagine that experience in VR? Experiencing the Battle of Geonosis in your living room? Those are just a couple of my humble ideas if Disney, Respawn, EA, or whoever else makes the Star Wars games were looking to pull from the Legends material. But alas, I don't think that's the way they'll go. The path I see that is more likely is moving on with the games they've created to new places and new ideas, and obviously creating all brand new games from scratch. As I've stated in my video on the future of Star Wars, the first thing that I want to happen is Jedi Fallen Order 2. We gotta make it happen. It's already likely to happen, and that's all I'll say. If you want to know more, you can go check out that video. Star Wars Battlefront 3 is also an option. I'm not sure what they could do story-wise, but I wouldn't be against what I said about a Republic Commando reboot in going with a Clone Wars era story. The Clone Wars TV show is coming to a close next week, and the thirst for more content from that era won't end. I can promise you that. And Disney knows that too. They have a whole anthology book coming out in August. So, to go back to the tried and true Battlefront series isn't completely out of the question. Here's the most likely option for the future of Star Wars video games, and it lies with the High Republic content coming very soon. The concept of an open-world Star Wars game has been tossed around for some time now. Every time one gets close to being a reality, it seems to be scrapped, probably for being a project approximately the same size as Texas. It happened with 1313 and the Visceral project after that. The third time's the charm here, and the High Republic era would be perfect. Imagine an open-world Star Wars game in the peak era of the Jedi Order. Exploring the wild Outer Rim and chasing down criminals and starships would be so awesome. Yeah, I think I just talked myself into making another video. The most recent rumor from the video game front is Project Maverick, which many were anticipating being a combat flight simulator. Now that's a cool idea. I could get behind buying a Rebel pilot helmet, slipping on VR, and start blasting ties for hours on end. But in reality, we have no idea what Project Maverick could be. It could just be another pay-to-play mobile game for all we know.
Here you go!
But the opportunities are there to make a lot of really cool Star Wars experiences through gaming media coming up. Comment down below what you think would be the best idea for a new Star Wars game. I love interacting with you guys in the comments. Okay, until next time, I'll see you guys later.